Welcome to another video tutorial by the Crafty Vintage Girl. Today we are going to tackle lacework knitting Continental style. I was asked to make this video by someone who's fairly new to Continental and said, okay, knit and purl, that's fantastic. What about the stitches you need to create lace? Now, knitting lace is really not that different with Continental style to the throw method. All it means is that you're dealing with your yarn in the other hand, and it's just making sure that the yarn is where it needs to be. So I'm just going to knit a couple of stitches here. And stitches commonly found in lace are yarn overs. Now yarn overs are dead simple. You're just going to tuck your working needle over the top and underneath the yarn and knit or purl or whatever the next stitch, and there it is there. There's our yarn over, there's our hole. And again, it's just going to tuck that behind the yarn, making sure that we've got that extra loop over the needle, and do whatever we need to do the next stitch. And there's another hole. So we've got a couple of holes there. Now the next would be decreases, because when you increase with a yarn over to keep the amount of stitches the same, you need to decrease. So common ones in lace are your knit two togethers, which are knitting through the two stitches as if to knit. So that's just the same as a standard knit stitch. You're just knitting through two stitches there instead of one. And another is the SSK, or the slip knit, and all you're going to do is you're going to slip two stitches as if to knit, and then pass the left needle back through those stitches as if to purl, making sure that your working yarn is in between the two and creating the stitch. And there's your, so you've got a right lean and a left lean. Now another one that is used very common in sort of tips of leaves and whatnot is a center lying stitch. And my favourite one for this, and there are a few methods, is slip two as if to knit together. So you've got the two stitches there, and you're going to knit the next one, and then you're going to pass those two stitches over, and that gives you a really nice, neat center stitch tip. So if you can imagine sort of, lace all around that, be really lovely leaf. Look, there are heaps. There's a slip, knit two together, knit two together, which is basically just the opposite of the one we've just done. And all this is going to do is give us a left leaning double decrease, because that's what these ones are. These are double decreases, because you're decreasing three stitches into one, and that'll give you your right leaning. So you've got a center and a right. To do a left one, you just knit three together the other way, and that'll give you, which I'll do. Why not? Well, you'll just knit three together the same way as you did the knit two together back here. So we've got a couple of yarn overs, a right leaning decrease, a left leaning decrease, also known as a slip knit, and then we've got a center double decrease and a left leaning double decrease there. Now the next are the make ones, which are your mostly invisible increases, commonly used in socks and garments that have bust darts or just other shaping. Now I call them make one back and make one front, because that's the way that you put the needle into that center bar there. Now this is the make one back, so you pick up that bar through the back of the stitch. You're going to pop your left needle in as if to purl, and then just make a stitch there. And so there's that loop in there. Now of course it'd be obvious with this gauge, but in much tighter gauges you can barely tell. And the make one front is where you put your right needle into that bar from the front, Now the way I usually do this is I slip it onto the left needle and then knit into it like that, and that gives you basically your mirror opposite till you make one back. There. And the last one is the knit front and back, which you knit into the front of the stitch, then you knit into the back of the stitch, and that's it. That's it. That's it. That's all of them. So, I mean, as you can see now that my lovely knit and... oh, I've dropped a stitch. Look at that. Perfect opportunity to show you how to fix a stitch. Take it back. Doesn't matter which way this one's fixed, but we'll fix it in the same manner as the other ones. Pop it over. There we go. And knit on. Too easy. I will do a tutorial on how to correct or pick up drop stitches when you find them sort of after you finish the row or whatever, just to round it all out. So there we go, we've got a couple of yarn overs, left and right leading decreases, 2 double decreases, a center one and a left leaning one. As I said, for the right leaning one you just knit through 3 stitches together. Got to make one back, make one front, a couple of stitches, and then a knit front and back. And you can tell that because that second bit's just got a bit of a purl bump there, which in all reality, depending on the scenario, that's usually fairly, not so much invisible, but barely noticeable anyway. So there you go. So that's knitting some lace stitches in the Continental style. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave any questions or comments or suggestions. You can email me on vintagegrrl@vintagegrrl.net, and do pop past and visit my craft blog, and I'll catch you next time.